So, what's in the box of my new Transom wheels? Firstly, we have one wheel, presumably a set of instructions, fitting kit, and a second wheel. The transom wheel itself appears to be quite well made, very rugged, robust, solid. It appears to be much better than the transom wheels which were on Redneck, the ones that I've taken off. The tyres need inflating, which I'll do before I actually fit them, just to make sure that they're not punctured. Yeah, quite pleased so far. The actual instructions are very basic, not much use at all when it comes to fitting, and there is no template for the holes. These are the bolts and washers on the fitting kit. I'm presuming this rubber washer here is to seal the hole. I probably won't use that, I'll use sealant instead. These washers appear to be very small and quite flimsy, very thin. I don't think they're going to spread the load on the transom very well, not considering when the actual mount that the transom wheel, the brackets of the transom wheel mounts onto this piece here. The actual mount is bigger than the washer that's supposed to go behind it, so I think I'll be replacing these washers as well. It says that they're stainless steel, but I don't think they are. I think they're zinc coated steel. So I'll replace these washers with bigger washers. I've fitted the mounts for the brackets onto the transom. I actually should have shown you how I've drilled and fitted those, but I'll show you on the next bracket. One of the reasons why there's a bigger washer top right hand side is that the original hole was very close to where I had to drill the new hole, and I've fitted a bigger washer on there just to spread the load just a little bit more. They are an absolute bugger to fit. There's no two ways about it. They are very hard to drill in the right place. Hopefully when I drill the next bracket you'll get a better idea of how to do it. Okay, so the first two holes that I drilled were actually quite easy. All I did was measure the centres of where the holes needed to be drilled, measure them on the brackets of the bracket mounts, transferred it onto the transom, drill the holes using an 8mm drill. I know in the instructions it will say a 6mm drill, but that is just far too tight. You need that little bit of play in it so that you know, you've got a bit of room to try and fit the whole bracket on. I drilled two 8mm holes, fitted the bracket mounts, the bracket transom mounts onto the transom, and now I'll fit the transom wheel bracket onto those two mounts. As you can see at this stage, I've actually left the transom bracket mounts quite loose. That's so that there's a little bit of play in it for when I fit it. Once I've fitted the transom bracket, I'll tighten up those two mounts so that they're in the correct place. So now that the transom wheel bracket is actually fitted onto the mounts, I'll tighten up these two mounts here, this one here, and this one, and then I'll be able to drill the holes using that as a guide and that as a guide, and hopefully they should be in the correct place. After you've tightened up the first two nuts and bolts on the bracket mounts, obviously with the bracket in place so that it doesn't move, make sure that you can take the whole bracket off quite easily and put it back on relatively easily, so that you know that at least two of those holes are in the exact place that you want them to be before you drill the next two holes using the bracket mounts as a guide. So I've marked off where I need to drill the next two holes using a 6mm drill through the bracket mount holes just to mark where I need to drill on the transom. Obviously then you remove the transom wheel bracket and it should leave you with two holes where I need to drill. First one is there, the second one is there, exactly where an old hole used to be. Right, I've drilled out the holes in the marked position with an 8mm drill, again so that it gives you just that little bit of clearance for the 6mm bolt to go through. I'll seal the holes and put the transom bracket mounts on before I tighten them. So once the transom wheel mounts have been fitted and the transom bracket has been fitted to the transom wheel mounts, the next job is to tighten up all these bolts to make sure that nothing moves. Then make sure that you can remove the transom wheel relatively easy, and also put the transom wheel back on relatively easy. And that is the job done. So the new transom wheels are fitted. I've just got to now wait for a dry day to get outside and see what they're like with Redneck inflated. I think this video has made it look a lot easier to fit than what it actually is. It's probably taken me about 2.5 hours, maybe even 3 hours, to fill the old holes and to fit the new transom wheels. But overall, I'm quite pleased.